Alright, Summoners, this is MP Blaze of New Nation. We have War 9 against Agent Graphite, and today I'll be taking in Guardian, Void, and Quake. We do have an Apoco boss in BG1 with the Protect Global, and instead of doing G99 today, we're going to attempt Void. We have used Void in other BGs versus an Apoco boss with the Protect Global, so I was going to go ahead this war and give it a try and get used to it. I do have a smaller number of fights this war. It's only 5, and that's usually the case when I have to bring Guardian along with a boss kill option for Apocalypse. Slapping on 1 hour boost to take my first 2 fights. First fight's going to be Longshot, and then the second one will be Doom on Power Snack Mini. Nothing too crazy about Longshot here, just got to look out for that MD, so you're going to see me start off playing it very slow until I get the Petrifies up. Nothing really too much about this node that you need to worry about. So you're going to see me parry heavy a lot to start, just to eat up some of my debuff timer until we get a Petrify or 2 landed on Longshot, and then we'll start to play a bit more aggressively. He was not much of a pain on this node today. He was willing to throw his SP1 like he did there, and I blocked it to avoid adding a Dex to Void and giving Longshot power through MD. And there's our first Petrify, so we can start playing a little bit more aggressive, still baiting out those special ones. He's already halfway, and we're not even close to Fear the Void. There's our second Petrify. And it's just a really smooth, really easy fight. Nothing really complicated about this. And he's down before we ever got to Fear the Void. So an easy first fight, nothing too crazy. Moving on to our second fight. So we are going to Quake and Bake this Doom on Power Snack. It's not too bad of a Quake and Bake fight, especially when I usually take Kingpin here. And we do have the White Magneto pre-fight to help out. The biggest thing here is getting Doom to the wall without getting a shock on ourselves from Power Snack. So trying to do it without triggering Dex, which can be difficult. The spacing and the quickness for Doom's animations can throw you off. But as you see, we made it to the wall without the Dex. So we should be easy breezy, Quake and Bake to the end. You will notice that I do take a considerable amount of block damage with this fight, which was one reason for throwing the 1 hour boosts instead of slapping on 6 hours, so that I can heal afterwards without using too many items. But outside of that, there's not really too much of a risk here with Quake and Bake when you land all your parries or can block his hits. Just like Kingpin, if he throws a heavy here, it's not much of a risk because it's a single hit heavy, and those are usually easy to just re-heavy in the middle of. And I believe in this fight he didn't throw any heavies, so trying to get him down in the last little bit, dropping the heavy on purpose, and there he goes. Moving on to the second node of Path 2 in Section 2. We did share this path with someone else. Using Quake here for Mysterio, even though he's concussion immune, but there's no ability we're trying to shut off. We're just trying to avoid the node itself or play around the node itself. It has Strike, Counter, and Power Sting, which is helpful because Mysterio's specials can kind of put you in a bad spot with this node, with him having the damage reflect after SP1 and the power drain after SP2. He is a rank 2, so he doesn't have as much health as if he was rank 3, so it goes by a little bit quicker. But Quake and Shake, not too big of a deal here with Mysterio. We did slap on 1 hour boosts for this fight. We're hoping to take a mini boss with those boosts, as well as the boss with some of the boosts. But we're not going to have to worry about healing before the next fight, because you'll see Quake and Shake, we're just not going to take any damage from this Mysterio. Could use a Human Torch here. There's some other options as well. It's just nice to play around the node abilities. Alright, so our next fight is Weapon X on the Rage Mini. and I'm going to use Quake. This is quite a risky fight, as Weapon X is extremely aggressive, and any slow Quake and Shake play, and you're going to take hits and then get bled to death. So I do slap on an invulnerability boost, which at the very start is a good reason, because I'm backing him up and I'm getting to the wall, and I get pegged because I was not prepared for the 3-hit combo. So I have these bleeds. They're going to bring me down just above 50%. And that's where I'm going to hopefully stay for the rest of the fight. Now, Quake can Quake this node. You'll notice her damage is capped, though, at 2.5% of whatever champion is on this node. So max suicides, max boosting, not really too big of a deal, as her damage is going to get capped for each aftershock tick. It makes her a good option if you don't want to have to play the champ that's on the node and it's Quakeable. But just know that her damage will be capped due to the Rage node ability. It does not trigger the Fury, which is a good thing as well. It doesn't matter for this Weapon X fight because he's unblockable the whole time, but it does kind of make it a little more risky if Furies were popping up. So there's not much here, just as long as you don't get hit while he's unblockable, like I did at the start. But you'll see we'll go through most of these going down nice and slow due to that Rage damage cap. And I'm just dialed in, focused here. I'm not even looking at his health bar while fighting him, just focused on being quick enough to dodge everything without skipping a beat. And here at the end, he's just not gonna let up off the wall. Last little bit, he's just not giving me any space. And still going. And he's down. Whew. So the first few hits, I'm glad I used that invulnerability boost and we avoided a death there. All right, so we're getting ready for the boss fight. It is an Apocalypse boss. Decided to go with Void here so that we can practice using him against Apocalypse, and we have done it in other BGs, so we know that it'll work. It's pretty much the same game plan. I'm gonna push him just shy of SP2, bait SP1, block 2 of the hits, and dex out of the 3rd. Rinse and repeat. We're gonna be throwing our SP1. For some reason it doesn't trigger protect, probably because it doesn't crit that often this fight. But using Void's just a better option because the health pool's larger. On top of that, we didn't have to find a fight to ramp up G99 on. You will see though right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and slow it down. Apocalypse comes in, I dash out, and I think I'm out of range for this, and I'm not. So I eat a heavy. So he's only at 97%, and I've already taken a 20% hit on top of the bleeds that are taking some of my health down. The weakness does help a little bit with gaining health back, but it is hitting my damage just a little bit, and it is a long weakness debuff. So here I'm a little worried. I'm thinking that I'm probably gonna have to, near the end of the fight, if it gets too close, start pushing him to SP2 and dodging SP2. But for now, I'm focused on the game plan, which is baiting SP1 and dexing out of the 3rd hit of the blasts. Throw in SP1 when I get it. Rinse and repeat. Definitely had me a little nervous, especially since his health isn't dropping really quick with Void. And my Void's only SIG 120, so the debuffs and the damage don't have that big of an increase in speed of them being applied and the damage when Fear of the Void is up. So we're really just sitting here focused, watching our health bar while we watch his health bar, making sure it's going down at a good speed compared to how fast our health is going down. Still trying to bait out those SB1s. Dexing out of that last hit. Okay, we're hitting at about 50% with his health. Void hasn't lost much in the time it took to get to this point. Thankfully, he has that large health pool compared to G99. If that was a hit, if that was a heavy hit during G99, we probably would have lost. Or we probably would have just had to switch straight to dodging SP2, which I do in AQ and can do. It's just a bit riskier in a war where every death counts. Starting to get even health bars here, so I'm getting a little more confident that I might not have to start dodging SP2. So we're still sticking to this game plan. Good thing we brought that Guardian synergy to reduce some of the block damage from the SP1. Okay, so his health bar is starting to get lower than Void's, so that's good. It's a good sign. We do have Resonate on to help with the dot damage with Void. So that's another good sign, or another good move for this matchup. Health is pretty even. We're probably gonna lose 5% more, and he's gonna lose about 11%. And that's when I'm gonna realize I don't have to dodge or bait or push him to SP2 or dodge SP2. So we're gonna stick with the game plan till the end of the fight. And here, I think I got it. It's gonna be great. Baiting his last SP1. Just gotta dex that last hit. And I didn't dex it, but luckily it didn't kill me. And he's down, so we soloed. It's a nail biter, especially with that early heavy that I took, but we got it. So that ended my war. Our BG ended up finishing with only 1 death, thankfully. If we look at the war progress, we started off with 2 deaths in the first 19 fights. So it was a little bit worrisome, but we ended up with only those 2 deaths, beating Agent Graphite to their 6 deaths. So New Nation pulled away with a victory. There's still a possibility of top 3, as we're 2 losses from the 1 and 2 spot and 1 loss from the 3rd and 4th spot. And right now we're ranked 5 in Masters. So hopefully if we win out, we'll take care of our business and we'll see how the rest plays out for everyone else. Thanks for watching the video. Keep your eye out for the next one. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like updates.